Hydro crews were at work Sunday morning trying to untangle and repair fallen power lines, some of which snapped like twigs in the Friday tornadoes that hit the Ottawa area. Ontario Premier Doug Ford said Saturday night he was planning to visit the affected areas sometime today. "We're going to do whatever it takes to help them get back on their feet," Ford told his annual Ford Fest barbecue in Vaughan, Ontario, on Saturday. "We want you to know that the entire province stands with you and is praying for you tonight." Environment Canada has confirmed that the Ottawa area was hit by 2 tornadoes late Friday afternoon. The National Weather Agency says a powerful F3 category twister, with winds that reached 265 km per hour, ripped through Trend-Arlington, Ontario, about 35 km west of the capital's downtown area, before moving on to devastate a densely populated area of Gatineau, K. The agency said that at almost the same time a second, slightly less powerful twister, touched down in the South Ottawa neighborhood of Arlington Woods. The twin tornadoes caused massive damage, obliterating dozens of homes, tossing vehicles around, snapping huge trees and injuring several people, at least 2 of whom were admitted to hospital in critical condition. At one point more than 200,000 Hydro customers were blacked out, but as of early Sunday morning, the Hydro Ottawa and Hydro-Québec websites reported the number had been reduced to fewer than 80,000 to 70,000 in the Ottawa area and 8,300 in the Oday region, which encompasses Gatineau. The Ontario government announced Saturday that it was activating the province's disaster recovery assistance program in affected areas, while the Quebec government announced it would give the Red Cross $1 million to help with relief efforts. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau also tweeted Saturday that he'd spoken with the mayors of Ottawa and Gatineau to offer federal assistance. "We're with you," Trudeau tweeted. The human toll was also significant. Authorities said dozens of people suffered injuries. However, there were no reports of fatalities or of missing people. The Ottawa hospital tweeted that 2 people were in critical condition, 1 was in serious condition and 2 others were stable. Officials established shelters for those who couldn't return home, and they said crisis counseling would be available. On the north side of the Ottawa River, Gatineau Mayor Maxime Pedneau-Jobin said more than 700 people in the city were affected. More than 215 buildings were damaged or destroyed in Gatineau, affecting a total of 1,686 housing units, he added. In areas lashed by the tornadoes, scenes of havoc were everywhere. The winds tore the roofs from numerous large buildings, bounced large sections of metal bleachers across soccer fields, knocked over hydro poles and cracked thick trees like twigs. "It looked like it was something from a movie scene or a war scene," Ottawa Mayor Jim Watson told reporters Saturday, recalling what he saw in the area of Trend-Arlington, where some 60 buildings were wiped out or partially destroyed. "Literally, it looks like some bomb was dropped from the air." It was eerily quiet Saturday inside the police perimeter of one of Trend-Arlington's most damaged neighborhoods, and only a few trees were still standing. Personal items were strewn everywhere: a baby blanket, a life jacket, mattresses, lawnmowers, a fridge, a kitchen sink lying on the grass, and even a love seat wrapped around a telephone pole. A car, windows shattered, lay on its side in front of a house. Fluffy, pink insulation, sucked out of ravaged homes, covered the neighborhood. Looking at one house, the blue sky could be seen through an open door. Its roof had vanished. Some houses had nothing left at all and lay flat on the ground, covering their vehicles. Officials warned people not to re-enter their homes until they had been deemed safe, as firefighters went door to door to determine whether structures were still sound. In Trend-Arlington, authorities said many buildings that had emerged from the tornado partially intact would likely have to be torn down. Conrad said people in the Ottawa area should brace for a multi-day power outage following what he described as a cascading failure of hydro resources. Last night's storm was devastating to our electrical infrastructure, arguably as bad if not worse than the ice storm in 1998, Conrad told reporters. Ontario Premier Doug Ford said he would be visiting the Ottawa area on Sunday. "We're going to do whatever it takes to help them get back on their feet," Ford told a crowd gathered Saturday night for his annual Ford Fest barbecue in Vaughan, Ontario. Tonight, "I want to let the people of Ottawa know that we're all thinking of you," said Ford, who also thanked first responders and hydro crews. "We want you to know that the entire province stands with you and is praying for you tonight." In Gatineau, leaders of Quebec's major political parties took a pause from the province's election campaign to visit areas walloped by the tornadoes. Setting aside their political differences, Liberal leader Philippe Couillard and Parti Québécois leader Jean-François Lisée visited one of the most devastated parts of Gatineau together. "It's so surprising and terrible to see the disaster the way it struck the homes," Couillard said as he toured Pontiac, K. Couillard added he was moved when he heard a story about a man in the community who had built his house with his own hands. "And it's completely vanished, almost completely vanished.